Some stories start out happy and go bad in the middle and end up happy at the end. Still others start out bad, get worse, and still end up happy in the end. High-low stories started out bad, curdled and soured in the middle, and ended up worse. Hey everybody, so from the title you can see that I'm reviewing The Warmest December by Bernice L. McFadden, and I will be highlighting books by this author all throughout the month of September in honor of her birthday. So stay tuned for those videos. Now, most of you know that I do not give spoilers in my videos. I basically tell you no more than you can read on the jacket cover, Goodreads, or wherever you read a synopsis of a book. And then I tell you how I felt about it. Well, in this case, I'm going to do the same thing, but as we get closer to the end of the video, I might tell you to stop it if you don't want to listen ahead, because I might dig deep on some things, not really telling you everything that's going to happen, spoiling it to the point you won't want to read the book, but just delving a little bit deeper into some of the things that, you know, occurs in this book. So let me tell you first what the book is about. I am going to just read the synopsis, make it easy, okay? Childhood can be rough, but for Kinsey, growing up in the Low home means opening the bottom drawer of her father's dresser to choose which of the 3 belts, coiled, waiting like snakes, she wants to be whipped with. Trips to Beehive Liquors for her father's vodka. And dreaming of the day she can escape apartment A5. Eventually, Kinsey does grow up and leave apartment A5. She goes to school, she holds odd jobs, and she develops a taste for the bottle. The 20 years have passed, it's now the 90s, but not everything has changed for Kinsey. She is still haunted by her childhood, and learning that her father is dying, she is shocked by her own desire to be with him during his final hours. There's also something else that Kinsey realizes in the days visiting her father in the hospital. I didn't recognize this thing in me that was changing my hate, molding it into compassion, trying to sculpt it into understanding and forgiveness. I shook my head against the thought and cleared my throat against the thick film it left there. I would force myself to remember the smell of hate, the feel of pain, and the sense of rejection he instilled in me every single day of my life. I would remember, and then this feeling of forgiveness that was laying root inside of me would dissipate, and the hate would blossom again, like gardenias in the spring. This book had me so emotional. It's only 239 pages. It took me a long time to get through this book because of the emotional toll it took on me. All I kept thinking to myself was, this is a fictional character, Karen. He's not real, but I wanted to kill him. He's probably one character that I absolutely hate. I hate this man. He is the definition of evil, in my opinion. He was a mama's boy who shared the love of drink with his 2 brothers, and it made me wonder what kind of mother could raise 3 alcoholic sons. He was a broken man with a broken spirit who does not have the capacity to love anyone, not even himself. He is an alcoholic, and another word that starts with the letter A. He is verbally, mentally, and physically abusive. He is insufferable, unkind, and a representation of the ugliest depths of human nature. That's how I felt about this character. I really could not stand Hyman Lowe, aka High Low. She did such a wonderful job writing this book that I wanted to kill this man. there were times I just had to put the book down and, you know, just throw it and say, okay, I can't really read that right now because of the emotions it took me through. And the thought that this is, it just seemed so real. Like you were spying on someone, invading their privacy and looking into their life. And just what really got me about this book is the fact that you know people who grew up that way. I think that's the hard part, knowing that there were people who grew up with parents that were this abusive, mentally, physically. Just knowing people had to deal with that is an awful thing. It makes you grateful, you know, for what you did have, even though you might not have had the best childhood. Reading this story really, but I enjoyed the book and I would recommend it to anyone to read. I just thought it was so good. I loved it. I did. I loved the book. I just don't know what she pulled from to get this story out. I don't know, but she did a fantastic job. So I'm going to end that part there. Now, if you want to stick around and get some more thoughts, please do. But if you don't want to hear anything else, go ahead and stop it now and catch me in another video, okay? Okay, y'all ready? Okay, so I hated this man so much. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Just some of the things that he did in this book. And for those of you who read it, again, I'm not going to give the spoiler because I don't want, you know, in case somebody's watching, but what he did to that cat. Oh my gosh. I was reading, y'all know I told you I read walking to my desk in the mornings going, you know, at work. And I was walking and reading and I just had to stop. And I was like, no, he didn't. Oh my, what he did to that cat just really, oh my gosh. And him buying those white towels. Yeah, that ticked me off too. When he bought those, he bought Kinsey white towels so that he could monitor her cycle. Now, it would be different if he were a loving, doting father and he was just keeping tabs on this child. You know how we parents keep tabs on our kids and, you know, I won't say devious ways, but, you know, we slick about it. This wasn't a benevolent, loving father, the act of a benevolent, loving father. This was just evil, okay? His whole family, oh my gosh, his whole family was horrible because of that mama. Oh my God. I thought I hated the mama in Praise Song for the Butterflies, the grandma in that story. Hollow's mama and his brothers, the whole family was a mess. They were all so broken, and you know, it just makes you wonder what happened to his mama for her to inflict the type of abuse she did on her sons. I mean, generational curses. Oh my gosh. The whole family had become immune to feeling anything by drinking. They mask their pain. And I'm not even going to start on Della. She just wanted her own pillow. And she wanted her kids to have their own pillow. I was about done. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. this family it's horrible. Like I said, I think what really disturbed me the most about this book was how realistic it is for some people. But if you've read it already, you know what you know. Now, for some people, it may not affect you at all. You may read it and say, "Oh, okay, he did some bad things. I've read worse." But how you take a book, in my opinion, is based on your own personal frame of reference. The things that you have endured in your own lifetime, the things that you have observed or experienced, you bring all of that with you when you read a book. You know, that's why one person can read a book and love it, 4 or 5 stars. This book touched me. And then somebody else can read the same exact book and hate it, trash it. It doesn't mean anything to them. They think it's the worst thing ever written. It's all about where you're coming from, what you've been through, how you see the world, what you've experienced, that you bring into a book when you read it. You may not think that, it happens that way, but in my opinion, it does. That's why some books really touch people and means nothing to others. In the end, I will say in the end, I'm not going to say anything. The Warmest December, Bernice L. McFadden. Check it out. Bye-bye.